In today's lesson, we're going to take a deep dive into the font group in Microsoft Word. The font group is a critical tool that allows you to customize the appearance of your text, from the typeface and size to the color and formatting. Mastering the font group is an essential skill for any Word user, whether you're writing a simple document or crafting a complex report. The options within the font group give you the power to create professional, visually appealing text that effectively communicates your message. Over the next few minutes, I'll walk you through all the different controls and features within the font group. You'll learn how to change fonts, adjust font size, apply bold, italic, or underline formatting, and so much more. Understanding how to leverage the font group will take your Microsoft Word skills to the next level. So let's dive in. The font group is located in the Home tab. As you can see, based upon this underline here, we are currently in the Home tab. And down here is the font group. So the font group goes from this left border to this right border. All the buttons in between those borders belong to the font group. The font group is responsible for changing or formatting the appearance of text. So if we go through these buttons here, we have the bold button, italic button, the underline button. We also have the strike through, okay, and we have the subscript and the superscript buttons here. We have the text effects button, highlight button. We have the text or font color button, and we have the case button, which changes the case. We also have the clear formats button. So whatever appearance we apply to the text, we can just clear it all off by clicking this button. We have the increase font size button, and then we have the decrease font size button. This right here is the font type button, and we use this one here to change the font to whatever font we want to change it to. This one right here is the font size button. So let's just take a look. Now, in order to format any of the fonts, we first have to select the font. So we have to select what we want to format. All right. But going through these buttons again, as previously discussed, you can see some of these buttons are main buttons and some of these buttons are combo buttons. This is a combo button, so we have the underline button, and then we have a drop down button that gives us more underlining issues. Okay, more main button, a main button. This one's a drop down button only. This one's a combo button. It's a main and a drop down. This one's another combo button. This one's just a drop down button. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and let's see what we can do here. So I want to go ahead and change this title text here. So I'm just going to go ahead and select this text. And when I select it, immediately we can see the mini toolbar pop up. And if you notice, this mini toolbar, this side of it is parallel or almost exactly the same, similar as the font group. It has mostly everything in the font group except a few things, but we can actually use the mini toolbar for a lot of things in the font group. Instead of using the mini toolbar though, we're going to focus more on this one here. All right, so what I want to do is I want to change the effect of this font. So I'm going to go to my font effects. I'm going to click the button. Now this is a drop down button. It's not a combo button. So I'm going to click anywhere. If I click anywhere, it'll just give me a drop down. Okay, and here I'm going to select one of these effects. Let's just take a look at which one is cool to affect here. All right, we'll do this one. Fill orange accent 2, outline orange accent color 2. All right, so the fill is orange accent color too, and the outline of the text is an orange accent color too. All right, so I'm going to click on that. All right, pretty cool. So let's come down, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to select this. And you know what? I'm going to hold the control button down, and I'm going to select the rest of these here. Holding the control button. Holding the control button. Holding the control button. All right, and I'm going to hold the control button to select this. All right, and I'm going to come up to the Home tab font group, and I'm just going to click on the bold button to bold all of these. And I'm also going to change the font color. Let me click on that drop down arrow. Now I specifically rested my mouse right on the drop down arrow because this is a main button here, and then here's a drop down arrow for more options. Unlike over here, this was just a drop down button. This whole button is a drop down button. It's not a combo button. All right, so when you're dealing with this font color button, you want to click the drop down to get more options. And we're going to go ahead and change the color of this one. And we'll choose a dark blue text to lighter 25%. All right, pretty cool. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to select the word electoral process. I'm going to click right before the word electoral, and I'm going to hold my click, and I'm going to drag to the right. Electoral process. I'm going to go to the font group, and let's just click this underline button. Now here's the main button. If I click the main button, it'll give me a basic underline, but if I go ahead and click the drop down arrow, I get more options of the type of underline that I want to apply. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and apply the double underline. Okay, let me go ahead and deselect. So I'm going to click in the white area to deselect. Okay, looks good. All right, so one thing that I want to do, let's just test this out. I want to increase the font size of this button, of this word here. So I'm going to select this word. I'm going to rest my mouse right there, click and hold my click to select and drag to the right. And I want to come up to the font group, and I'm going to rest my mouse on this increase font size button. I'm going to click it one time, and I think that's actually good. I think that one time is good. So you know what, let's go ahead and do that to the rest of them. Now there's a shortcut way to do this to apply the same formatting that you've just applied. So you saw that I just applied this font size, this increase in font size. I can go ahead and apply this to the rest of them in an easier fashion by using this format painter, but we're not going to do that since we're just focusing on the font group right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a non-contiguous selection again, and I'm going to go ahead and select these titles here. So let me make my first selection. I'm going to select this. I'm going to hold the control button again, and for this one I'm going to double click. I'm going to hold the control button, and for this one I'm going to drag and select. I can't double click because it's two words. Okay, for this one I'm going to hold control and select. Oops, let me see here. I think it went too far this time. I got to start over. All right, sometimes when you're making error using the non-contiguous selection method, you have to start over. So I'm going to make my first selection without holding the control button. Without holding the control button. The first selection is always without holding the control button. The second selection is holding the control button. So I'm going to hold the control button and select this. I'm going to hold the control button and select that. Hold the control button and select that. And hold the control button and select that. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit this increase font size button. Boom. make that a little bit bigger. Also, what I want to do is I want to change the case of all of these to uppercase. All right, and I don't want to have to type it all over either. Okay, so I'm going to use this button up here, change case, but let me go ahead and hold the control button and select this one now. All right, and let me come up to the font group and rest my mouse on this drop down button. This is not a combo button. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to select uppercase. All right, pretty cool. Let's come back. I'm going to deselect here. I'm going to deselect by clicking the white area. And let's see. Now, this is very important. On election day, registered voters cast their ballots either in person or by mail. Interesting. I want people to really see that. So I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to click to select right here, and I'm going to drag. As a matter of fact, I'm going to drag to the period. So I'm going to come down and drag to the period here. So let me do that one more time so you can see that. If you're trying to select an entire sentence, you want to go to the beginning of the sentence and drag toward the period of the sentence. So there's no need for me to click and drag this way. There's no need for me to go that way. What I need to do is click and drag toward the period now. So I'm going to drag downward, and now the whole sentence is selected. I hope that makes sense. All right, and let's go ahead and highlight this. Now here we have a combo button. If I click the main button, it's going to give me a yellow highlight as indicated. So let's click the main button. Let's check it out. And you see that yellow highlight right there. Now if I were to select the drop down arrow instead, it would give me more options here. Okay, but this yellow is perfectly fine. All right, this says the candidate who wins the popular vote in each state typically receives that state's electoral votes. Very true. Typically is a good word. But just to play devil's advocate, we'll say that we don't need that word typically. So I'm going to double click the word typically. Okay, and I'm going to go up to the font group and I'm going to go over to the strike through button and I'm going to press this strike through, and now I'm going to deselect by clicking in the white area. Okay, looks good. Okay, so there's one thing that I want to do here. I want to come down. It says after the election results are certified at the state and federal level. I'm going to double click on the word state. I'm going to hold the control button down and double click on the word federal. And I'm going to come up to the font group and I'm going to click this italic button and we're going to make that italicized there. Now let's come up here. And let's take a look. It says voter registration. In order to vote, citizens must first register with their state or local election authorities. Registration deadlines and requirements vary by state. I want to make a point that this is a two-part understanding. So what I'm going to do here is place my cursor right up against that I, and I'm using my my navigation arrows to move my cursor. And I'm going to come up and I'm going to press this superscript button. I'm pressed it and then I'm going to type the number 1 here. All right, now I'm going to use my navigation arrows, the down arrow to bring my cursor down, and I'm going to use my left arrow to bring the cursor to the front of the R. And I'm going to now press superscript again. I'm going to press that button in the font group and I'm going to type in 2. All right, looks good. All right, so let me come up here and it says understanding the key steps of the U.S. electoral process. I don't know if I really want that orange on it. Let me go ahead and select this this text and let's pick this up in the next video.